Hey, happy Hump Day, everyone. I hope you're doing well this Wednesday. I know there's a lot of craziness going on in the world, so I wanted to bring forth a paradigm shifting message to you. My name is Joshua Betancourt, and I am an NLP practitioner. I am a modern mystery school initiate. I am an avid reader of kind of spiritual philosophy and meditative philosophies, and constantly just searching for growth and expansion. So this channel is about that. It's about transmutation, transformation, growth, expansion, evolution, right? And we, talk about different, subjects that relate to how that transpires internally, mentally, physically. So yeah, welcome. I think that you'll find today's message interesting, and this is paradigm shifting. So cool. Thanks for spending some time with me. I'm really happy that you're here. For those of you that are alive, or I apologize. Let me make sure that my sound is working appropriately because I am. Yeah, it looks like it's working okay. Anyhow, so yeah, thanks for taking the time with me and being here. So today I wanted to talk just briefly about a couple of topics. I've been trying to run and get outside and get some sunshine as much as possible because, as you all know, right, the world is in it's a very interesting energetic space. Uh, Times are challenging for a lot of people, and there's a lot of upheaval that I mentioned before, and it is starting to become more and more of an expression in everyone's lives, and the importance of kind of equality and really truly a reflection of what I would think is kind of an expression of an advancement of consciousness, right? Things that we in the United States, but I think all over the world, think should be just inherent rights, have been violated, and there's a lot of focus on these negative aspects of what the human experience is like. So one of the approaches that I like to take is really to give people an opportunity to understand how to counter that. Just a quick story, like the other night, I meditate regularly, so I feel like I'm somewhat a little more aware and sensitive to, these experiences, right? I feel like I have more of a kinesthetic feel in the sense that I can feel just all the heaviness of the emotion that's in the air. I can tap into that a little. I don't know. I wouldn't say sooner, but I'm just more aware of those frequencies, right? I'm more aware of. I'm attuned into those different feelings, right? So I have a tendency to take on a lot, right? And last night I had a horrible, horrible time sleeping because it was just this recurring, ongoing, recurring kind of negative thoughts about the state of humanity, and there was, real emotions related to fear and concern and anxiety, and I think that that really is an expression happening, throughout the entire world at this moment. I mean, you see kind of the protests that are taking place, not only here in the United States, but all over the world. So it's important to recognize that there's this concept called the universal mind. And the universal mind is just basically kind of a generalization of the general state of consciousness of humanity and sentient life, right? Um, It's kind of like this idea that the best analogy that I could think of is that each individual is kind of like their own radio station, and we're all broadcasting whatever it is that we are associated with, however we consciously associate with this experience of life, and that broadcast could be thought of as a kind of a signal coming from a radio station that's being broadcast into all of space. Well, just imagine if every person, every sentient creature that's experiencing life was broadcasting this signal. And then, you take all of those signals and those become basically, what we can, explain as kind of the universal mind. So sometimes in times of despair and worry, like throughout some of the major historical wars that we've had, or throughout periods of unrest like we're experiencing right now, that universal mind can become negative and powerful in the sense that there's a lot of negativity associated with it. So having some type of counter to that is really important, not only for health, but also for the expression of how we're presenting ourselves in this situation, for the younger generations and the people that look up to us, so that they might have more sense of stability and security and reassurance in that things are going to be okay. Because I keep getting this idea that there's thousands and thousands of children that are finding themselves in the middle of these protest spaces just in fear. So with that concept of the universal mind, it's important that if you have a practice related to self-care, that you're exercising that self-care. And that can be anything, whatever it is that you do. I like to take hot Epsom salt baths, right? I like to throw on some relaxing music without any lyrics. I usually listen to, there's a really cool channel on Amazon called Healing Music. You can enable the skill and play healing music, and what it does is it plays frequencies. It plays the 432 frequency that is kind of the core frequency of the planet, and it aligns your body, right? Energetically, it's proven to be healthy for your body to listen to that frequency. So yeah, that or binaural beats, or anything that can just get you into a state of calm and state of relaxation to counter all of the anxiety. I would also think that, and I may have mentioned this before, but just limiting your time on the traditional media outlets. Not to say that we want to be absent or ignore what's happening, but get your information and then get out. It's the longer that you stay and resonating in that negative frequency, the more difficult it's going to be in order to not necessarily circumvent, but in order to release all of the things that you're absorbing based on the situation. And right now more than ever, we need people to be calm and voices of reason, especially considering that our leadership is very, very confused. Not only our leadership, but leadership across the world is very, very confused. So that's important, self-care. Whatever it is that you do, if that's reading, if it's meditating, if it's prayer, this is the time to practice that. This is absolutely the time to find that center, find that space of inner peace, and be a reflection and an expression of that in the light of everything that's taken place. One of the things that is kind of related to this is also this idea of being aware of how you shift emotionally, right? So, as people have these experiences of anxiety or fear or worry, right, they'll, have a tendency to bounce in and out of these emotional states. I think it's important to slowly start to recognize as you're shifting from one state to another. And the more that you practice that and the more that you do that, the sooner you'll realize that you're moving into one of those states, and then you can exercise some type of tool to practice either countering that or thinking about something different or going about a different activity, so that you don't necessarily fall into kind of a state of fear or a state of anxiety or a state of depression or whatever it might be that doesn't necessarily um, benefit you in any way, right? This whole thing is there's a lot of fear and a lot of worry happening because we're in a time that is and demanding that there is change, that there be change, and I wholeheartedly believe that we will see change come from this entire experience that we're having right now. But that being said, it's important to understand whether or not you're contributing to this change in a positive light, or whether you're absorbing all of the negativity that's coming at us and being in a state of negativity and in opposition, right? And that's it's hard to really explain that, but the, where I'm getting at, or what I'm getting at, is the idea of, yes, we can create change in this world, and we can do it one of two ways. We can do it how we've traditionally done it, right, which is through kind of force and violence and these ugly aspects and characteristics of humanity, or we can take the approach of remaining calm and being conscious and conscientious of the actions that we take and the words that we use and the expressions that we are, which some might lead you to believe that isn't as effective, but I guarantee you that it is as effective, if not more so, once you're capable of finding the true strength of your inner power and your inner resolve and the capacity of your mind to focus. So I wanted to say that, in the sense that watching those emotions and watching your states will help you become more aware of as you shift. And if you're aware of that, then you can associate yourself with a shift towards a positive emotional state, a positive mental state. And one way that you can do that, and there's multiple ways that you can do that, but one way that you can do that is, find an experience. Like if hugging your babies makes you feel good, go hug your babies and really feel the depth of that love and that interaction and that experience. And hold it to memory, like retain it to your memory and feel it inside of yourself. Feel the way that it makes you, whatever it is that you're thinking about, and just try to imprint that in yourself. And as you do that, remembering that or being able to recall that experience can help whenever you find yourself going down a negative path. You can use that as a means to easily get back to a positive state. Love is a good expression of that, right? But courage and integrity and all of those positive characteristics are excellent examples of states that you can kind of reassociate with whenever you're having one of those episodes. And yeah, I mean, I think that was really the point of the message today is to kind of give some tools around dealing with some of these anxieties or some of the outcomes, and related to what's happening in the world, the upheaval in the world right now. I am working on putting together a course that'll be promoted here on the channel. It'll be on the YouTube channel, and it'll be on the group. So keep your eyes peeled out for that. As always, I am kind of advancing and continuing to study around neurolinguistic programming. So if there are any kind of if there's any way that I can help, right? If you're dealing with a trauma, or somebody that's having a tough time and is interested in having a conversation, or just even learning about some tools that they might be able to use to start to shift their mind and start to shift their state, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here to help with. So I hope that everyone's doing well. I hope that you keep your head up, stay positive, stay focused. One of the things that I lean on, and I've always leaned on, is the saying that this too shall pass. And my expectation and the way that things look is that when they pass, the world's going to be a much, much better place after we get through this. So I love all of you. I hope that you're well, and don't be strangers. Reach out to me, shoot me a message, talk to me. say what's up. I miss you guys. I hope you're doing well, and we'll talk soon. You guys take care.